Hello, SquirrelTribe. So I wanted to talk to you about McDonald's, which is, I know, the weirdest topic we could possibly talk about, but it's something that I find very, very interesting because there was this article on Money Watch, which I don't know how many people read Money Watch, but it was titled, "McDonald's says tariffs are hurting sales after reporting largest declines since the pandemic." And my brain said, is it really tariffs, or is it the fact that a Big Mac meal now costs almost 20 effing dollars? Like, really, let's be honest about why McDonald's sales are going down. There's numerous reasons. Number one, their prices are stupid. Fast food has for the longest time been the cheapest option for families and people who were in a hurry, wanted some food, didn't have time to go to the grocery store, fill up a cart, go home, cook the meal, all that other stuff. Maybe you're on your lunch break. Maybe you're running late to work in the morning. Maybe you're a college kid who just needs a cheeseburger or something to eat. Maybe you're a kid on the way to school and you just want an Egg McMuffin for breakfast. Whatever it may be, it used to be that McDonald's and Burger King, let's not forget Burger King, were the places to go for a quick, cheap, drive-through breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Chick-fil-A, maybe kind of sort of back in the day, maybe Arby's, maybe Hardee's, all these different things, Jack in the Box, In-N-Out, whatever. But McDonald's has been a staple of the United States of America for the absolute longest. But when McDonald's started, there's a whole entire documentary about McDonald's on Netflix, I think it is, and how it started, its origins and everything else. And over time, McDonald's, that started as a way to get a really tasty hamburger for a really good price, has turned into a way for a company to make as much profit as possible. That's it. That's all it is now. It's not about bringing you delicious food at a low price. It's about how much or how little can they give you and how much can they make off of you in the long run. So when this article comes out that says McDonald's says tariffs are hurting sales after reporting largest decline since pandemic, I'm like, bullshit. Because the problem here is your prices have gone through the friggin' roof. Yes, the economy over the last 4 years has been absolute trash. Under a Biden-Harris administration, the economy went to absolute shit. Everything became so much more expensive that a lot of people have started making changes in how they spend, whether it's on a home, whether it's on a car, whether it's on where they shop for groceries or where they go out to eat, or even who they have their mobile service with or their cable service with, or if they even have mobile or cable services, or if they even go out to eat, right? So McDonald's trying to blame this on tariffs, to me, is absolute horse shit. It says here, McDonald's, a stalwart American fast food chain, posted a steep sales drop at U.S. restaurants in its first quarter earnings on Thursday, which was a couple days ago, citing economic uncertainty and diminished customer sentiment. And this is what it says here. Heightened anxiety about the economy, driven largely by tariffs, is weighing on lower income Americans. This is according to the CEO of McDonald's, which is Chris Kempczynski. I don't even know how to say his name. It says here, the burger chain's same-store sales in the U.S. declined 3.6% in the first quarter, reflecting economic pressures weighing on low and middle-income consumers in particular. McDonald's said in its earnings call that marks the biggest U.S. decline for the company since the C-19 pandemic forced stores to close nationwide. So what they're basically trying to insinuate and trying to say is that because President Trump is in office and he's doing these things with the tariffs across the globe, that's why McDonald's sales are falling. Listen, that might have something to do with it. Let's be fully honest. That might have something to do with it. Tariffs might have something to do with it because there are people out there who would be worried about how much things are going to cost in the future and whatever else, right? But at the end of the day, it comes down to the point or the fact that McDonald's is friggin' overpriced. For a shitty cheeseburger or some crappy fries, a milkshake that never seems to work, an apple pie that you can barely ever get, the McRib that's never on the menu, all these different things, the price is absolutely astronomical. It is literally cheaper to go to Walmart or Publix or Kroger's or Albertsons or Fred Meyer's or wherever it is that you shop and buy a dozen eggs at whatever the egg price may possibly be, to buy a pack of bacon and to buy a thing of Bisquick to go home and make some biscuits than it is to go to McDonald's and hit the drive-thru for 3 or 4 people in a family. The cost to go to McDonald's is absolutely ridiculous. I guess it's fast food, unless of course you're waiting forever because they've hired 15 and 16-year-olds who can give two shits about the job they're doing, take forever and a day to do their job, get the orders wrong and whatever else. But at the end of the day, you're going to a fast food place where you're supposed to be able to get food quickly, spend little money, and have a meal that's supposed to be somewhat beneficial to you and your family and your nutritional goals, right? And then go home and do whatever else. But that's not the case anymore. It has become so flipping expensive that a lot of people are foregoing McDonald's to literally go to the grocery store. I would rather spend an extra 30 minutes out of my day to go to Publix, Walmart, wherever, buy the things I need, go home and make the meal than I would to sit in a McDonald's drive-thru, get berated by whoever is on the speaker intercom, or heaven forbid it's the AI version like they have at Taco Bell now, to order a Big Mac meal that's going to cost me $20 when I get to the front, to get a Big Mac that has very little lettuce, very little special sauce, fries that are kind of sort of cold and lacking in the quantity in the container, and a soda that is flat or doesn't have enough carbonation, whatever. It's not worth it at the end of the day. This is what I think the problem is. They want to blame it on President Trump's tariffs, but what it really comes down to is shitty hiring, crappy service, just absolute dog shit food, and higher prices. But McDonald's is not going to take responsibility for their earnings losses. A lot of companies aren't, because it's easier to place the blame over there than it is to take the blame for what you have done to the consumers and to your restaurant over time. McDonald's, when I was younger, hell, even when my daughter was younger, she's 15 and a half, but when she was younger, McDonald's had which I guess is weird if you really want to think about it, because the whole point of McDonald's when we were younger was to convince parents to take their kids to these places to fill them up with this crappy for you food at a really low price to make their lives easier, whatever else. But you had the Hamburglar, you had Grimace, you had Ronald McDonald, you had whatever else. You had the playground you could go hang out in with the hamburger jail, right? Remember climbing up into that, and it was a hamburger with bars all around, and you're in there going, "Mama, let me out," whatever. And then you run down, eat a chicken nugget, run back up, and you're in prison again. Then you run down and you have a French fry, maybe some Coke or some Dr. Pepper or some whatever else. You run around the little thing, you get on the little, what's it called? Like the little, my brain wants to think swing, but that's not it. The little things you used to sit on that were like shaped like the Hamburglar or Grimace or whatever. And it was like a stationary kind of thing. I don't know what you're supposed to call those, but it used to be fun for kids to go to McDonald's. And then over time, they took it away from being kid focused, which I guess at the end of the day is actually a good thing, because you don't want it to seem like McDonald's is great for kids, because it's actually horrible for you. You're going to get fat. You're going to get diabetes, all kinds of health issues, whatever. Then they turned it into this modern, sleek thing that adults were supposed to be like super drawn to. They came out with what was it called? The McDonald's burger that was supposed to be like the bougie burger, where it was like just meat and lettuce and tomatoes in a bun. McTasty. Ah, that feels right. The McTasty came out, and it was supposed to convince these affluent people that it was okay to go to McDonald's. You weren't just going there for a Happy Meal. It wasn't about Ronald McDonald and the Frosty machine. Nope, that's Wendy's. The McFlurry machine. It's because you could go get a McTasty, which was an adult burger, to go with a side of fries that were just perfectly salted, right? But over time, even that has not really done anything. Most adults don't want to go to McDonald's unless they absolutely have to. But for McDonald's to sit here and try to blame their 3.6 decline in the first quarter of 2025 on President Trump, I feel is kind of like scapegoating, right? You're using Donald Trump as a scapegoat. You're using the president as a scapegoat. You're using his tariffs as a scapegoat. A lot of it could have also to do with the fact that RFK Jr. is now head of the HHS, the Health and Human Services. And he's telling you how absolutely awful these places are for you, how McDonald's used to cook their fries in beef tallow, and they were much better for you back in the day with beef tallow. Now they're cooking them in all kinds of seed oils, which are absolutely just awful for you. And there's all these issues with McDonald's, with Burger King, Wendy's, every fast food place you can possibly think of. I see these signs at Burger King and Wendy's when I'm driving by, whatever. And they're like, oh, you can go to Arby's and get a, what's the one? The beef and cheddar. You can get 2 for like $10. And I'm like, bro, remember when you could go there and get 2 for like $5 when pricing made sense? Now pricing is through the friggin' roof. It's not President Trump's tariffs that are causing McDonald's and places like it to have lower earnings in the first quarter. It's the fact that their prices are astronomical and their food is shit. Those two things. You cannot have high prices and low quality food and expect people to flock to your restaurants and spend a ton of money on empty calories, and all it's going to do is make them fat and then have to go to the doctor to get diabetes medicines or Ozempic or whatever else. Listen, McDonald's, on their whatever little high horse they're on, they need to get off that thing. It was hot coffee when I started. Y'all can't see it. If I try to show you, it will pour out. There we go. Hot coffee when I started. Now it's lukewarm. But listen, it says here, this is what's crazy to me. It says Kempczynski, or however the crap you say this guy's name, added that traffic to U.S. restaurants fell more sharply than the company had anticipated, and that we're not immune to the volatility in the industry or the pressures that our consumers are facing. President Trump's sweeping tariff agenda has stoked widespread uncertainty amongst businesses and consumers alike. Many companies are pulling back on growth and expansion and delaying places orders for goods manufactured overseas as a result of the uncertainty caused by evolving rates and on-again, off-again status of U.S. trade policy. And again, if we made it here, this wouldn't be an issue. If we were more reliant upon U.S. companies and things like that, this wouldn't be an issue. Do you really think McDonald's would be having this whole conversation about U.S. tariffs if they got their own potatoes here from the U.S.? I don't know, maybe from Idaho. If they got their own beef from here in the U.S., I don't know, maybe somewhere in the Midwest. If they got all their products here from the U.S., this would not be an issue. Yes, they might say that a lot of customers might be worried about tariffs, but I really don't think, if you really step back and look at it, how many of y'all have changed everything you're doing because you're so worried about President Trump's tariffs? Whether you're left, right, center, whatever part of the bird you happen to be on, how many of you have really changed the way you've done spending because of President Trump's tariffs? I haven't. I'm sure y'all haven't. It's not something that we're going to completely cower and be scared about. And that's the problem here. This is why, and I say this with the utmost, what's the right word? Humility? I don't even know if that's the right word. I don't know if that's the right word. But YouTube loathes SquirrelTribe. It hates my channel right now because I refused to bow to their wants and to their agendas. I refuse to sit here and make a video about President Trump is crap and the tariffs are awful and he's ruining our country. I'm not going to do it because I don't believe it. However, when I make a video about standing behind the president and understanding what he's doing and understanding that we need to be patient because it takes time to steer a sinking ship back correctly and to bring it back up where it needs to be, YouTube doesn't like that. They want me to sit here and just crap all over our economy, crap all over our president, crap all over everything, and I'm not going to do it. I refuse to bow. So I will lose subscribers. I will lose views. I will lose monetization stuff. It is what it is. At the end of the day, though, I have morals and I will stick to those. And what I believe is that what President Trump is doing is what is best for our economy, is what's best for the people in general. And yes, it may sting a little in the beginning, but guess what? Get the fuck over it. It takes time to fix what has been broken for so many years in the past. He had the first term to try. He didn't know what he was doing. He was a first-time president. He was a businessman put in as a president. This time around, though, he is better equipped to understand exactly what needs to be done to make this country great again, to make America great again. So McDonald's, as far as I'm concerned, can kick rocks because they want to blame all of their shortcomings on somebody that has no bearing on what their company is doing. The fact of the matter is, many people do not want to go to McDonald's drive-thru for a $20 burger where they can go to a sit-down restaurant and get the same product, but at a much higher quality for the same price and be waited on hand and foot. You cannot be a fast food company with sit-down restaurant prices and expect to not get crapped all over McDonald's. So you need to figure yourself out and humble yourselves, bring your prices down, and quit bitching and moaning about some tariffs that are not affecting your company right now. You're affecting your company. And that is all I have to say today, SquirrelTribe. I love y'all immensely. Thank you for letting me have my random McDonald's rant. I appreciate it immensely. Would love to know your thoughts on everything that's going on, not with just McDonald's, but like in general in the economy and whatnot in the comment section below. For those of you who are 64 and a half and older, make sure you do check out the description and the pinned comment. If you want some free help with your Medicare, please make a phone call or click on the link in the description for the website. I promise you it's free. It will help you at the end of the day. And besides that, I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.